reminds me of Sheikh Saleh Abadi. Assalamu alaikum. We were making Taraweeh at the time I was still becoming a Hafiz student. And Sheikh Abadi, of course, the doyens of Qira'ah, of Quran, of course, in our country. He read the whole Quran without a single mistake. And then the last night he came to Qul Wallahu Ahad. And we were all youngsters, and Maulana Sulay Magda is now Mufti now, Maulana now, Abdul Rahman. So we were all students by him, and we were in the final year of learning by him. And so he read the Taraweeh, and we didn't read the Taraweeh that time, that year. We just prayed behind him. Entire Quran, no mistake. He made Qul Wallahu Ahad, and he made a mistake. Actually went into ruku, he had to open the Quran, and just he said, only Allah is perfect. So I'm thinking of the Sheikh now. He didn't know way to. MashaAllah. May Allah bless everybody. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We continue our theme توجيهات أخلاقية من التجارب اليومية, moral guidance from everyday experiences. One of the things about fasting is not only the elevation of the self, improvement of the self, and part of the improvement of the self is the eradication of negativity within ourselves. Not only must we be more truthful, but we must lie less. Not only must we be more generous, but be less inclined towards being stingy at other times. Let's not only be open about some things, but closed to some other people about other things. Be friendly with everyone else and not our family. So the point is, it must be a multifaceted development. And therefore, part of our development is learning to forgive, specifically in these days where we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His forgiveness. So sometimes we become so unforgiving of people who disagree with us. And of course, all human beings, we agree and we disagree on some matters. We never agree on everything all the time. But some people become so unforgiving, and when they disagree, they hold different views, and those differences cause them to shun one another, and in fact, at times, turn their friendships into animosity. And sometimes we experience anger and even vulgarity with people whom we know when they express their differences in a manner which is unbecoming. And therefore, whether it be family members or friends, peers or colleagues, unleashing irrational anger with outright viciousness, and sometimes with the air of moral supremacy, using hurtful words, especially when expressing difference of opinion about sports or about politics, or even differing about religious issues, all of this is not the Islamic way. It's a kind of moral arrogance sometimes that ravages human relationships and replaces the relationship that we may have with distrust, with hatred, coarsening our communities by replacing civil discourse with common courtesy, with name-calling and hatred. Instead of having civil discourse and common courtesy, we find name-calling, hatred, and as I said, making new enemies out of old friends. I want to relate an incident, and I want you to remember this for the rest of your life. I want to relate an incident that some have reported in our history that could serve as a guiding lessons for all situations to guide us regarding the ethics of disagreement. Abu al-Hasan Ali ibn Abdul Rahman bin Ahmad ibn Yunus al-Sadafi al-Misri was a very well-known mathematician and astronomer, a poet. In fact, he was so advanced in his studies and in his writings and so on, though eccentric in some way. One of the craters on the moon, on the eastern limb of the moon, is called Ibn Yunus, is named after him. His great-grandson was a companion and also a contemporary of Imam al-Shafi'i. But he was a person who did not hesitate to express his differences. On one occasion, Imam Shafi'i said something in an audience, and Ibn Yunus, or Yunus ibn Abdul Ala, he was so upset by what Imam Shafi'i, the point that he differed with, he got out of the audience and he walked away. And of course, Imam al-Shafi'i noticed it. So Yunus bin Abdul A'la reports, later that day, I heard a knock on the door. When I opened the door, behold, it was Imam al-Shafi'i. And Imam al-Shafi'i engaged Yunus ibn Abdul A'la with the following words. Words that I believe serve as a model of compassionate, respectful engagement, an example of disagreeing without being disrespectful. And he said the following words. Ya Yunus, تجمعنا مئة المسائل وتفرقنا المسألة. Oh Yunus, we agree on مئات المسائل, we agree on many issues, but we disagree on this issue. لا تحاول الانتصار في كل الاختلافات. Let's not try to be triumphant in all our differences. فأحيانا كسب القلوب أولى من كسب المواقف. Sometimes winning a heart is far more important than winning an argument. ولا تهدم الجسور التي بنيتها وعبرتها فربما تحتاج إليها للعودة يوما ما. Don't demolish bridges of friendship and love and respect that we have built and crossed so many times, because someday you may need them for your return. دائما اكره الخطأ لكن لا تكره المخطئ. Always dislike what is wrong, but do not hate the one who errs. ابغض كل قلبك المعصية لكن سامح وارحم العاصي. Despise sin with all your heart, but find an excuse to have mercy on the one who may be sinning. انتقد القول لكن احترام القائل. Criticize speech as much as you want. Criticize speech, but respect the speaker. فإن مهمتنا هي أن نقضي على المرض لا على المرضى. It's important for us to wipe out the disease, not to wipe out the patient. So, it's the profound words of Imam al-Shafi'i, said hundreds of years ago. And I leave you with the promise of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as we reflect on this advice of Imam al-Shafi'i. Rasulullah said, أنا زعيم ببيت في ربض الجنة لمن ترك المرآة وإن كان محقا. Hadith documented by Abu Dawood. Rasulullah said, I guarantee a house on the periphery of paradise. I guarantee a house on the periphery of paradise for the person who, even though he is right, isn't hostile in his argumentation. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.